but this is what I'm going to be going with into the season and going to attack all the courses on the Pro Tour. That's a big wad. What is good, everyone? Eric Oakley of Infinite Discs. I'm out here to give you guys my in the bag. I've been building my bag. I hope you've seen that series. If not, it's probably linked somewhere over here. And I want you guys to go check that out. I got to test out a ton of discs with this new sponsorship with Infinite Discs. I'm able to throw any disc I want, and it's been super, super fun. So make sure you go check out that series. I'm still testing out discs that I didn't test in that series because there's just so many options to choose from. I'm going to be using these discs to go and attack all the courses on the Pro Tour, from the States to overseas. I'm going to be getting after it, and I think this is the best place for me to start, and I'm going to keep building on it. So let's start with the putters. I'm using the Glow P-Blend ALPACA. This is actually a signature series. We got the Shinobi, the Ninja on there. It's going to be a part of a series where we're going to see many of them. You'll see it in the Dynasty stamp as well, that they are really, really cool. They are, God, this is one of the best putters I've ever used. Feels great in the hand. Good glide, nice and stable, so I can trust it into the wind. And I mean, this is reminiscent of a putter that I was very fond of in the P2 from Discmania, the original P2. So really easy to just kind of make that transition and have a disc that I can fully trust. The Glow P-Blend ALPACA is stiff with a decent amount of grip, and it only gets more grip as it ages. That's why I like it so much, and it's giving me confidence on the green. Keep talking about alpacas. I do carry one D-Blend alpaca. This I love for pretty much any throwing putter shot that I can ask for. If I want to throw a touch hyzer approach, a turnover that pulls out, I want to rip into it, I can trust this D-Blend alpaca to do it all. It's on the stable side, which is great. So if I rip it on hyzer, I know I'm going to get some play. But as it beats in, it starts to get really, really nice. The D-Blend alpaca is truly, truly a disc that I'm loving a ton, and it just gives me more and more confidence the more I throw it. So really, really good one right there. Onto the Axiom Envy. And this thing is, wow. I mean, it is the disc that shook up the whole disc golf world last season with James Conrad throwing it in. The more I got to throw it, the more I started to like it. It is very similar to the alpaca, but this just goes farther. So if instead of ripping into an alpaca really hard or powering down on a mid-range, I can just take this out and throw it nice and smooth, get the same type of flight, but get extra distance. So I'm really liking the Envy. I like the soft plastic as well. It's not too stiff. It's got a firm enough rim where it's really nice, but it just has a little more tack. So I like it on that release when it comes out. Really, really nice. Envy is an absolute winner. And as I said in my building the bag, everybody should be throwing a disc like this. If not this disc, exactly. It's so good. So good. Envy, for sure. Now onto a slot that I haven't really ever bagged, and that is in the understable putter department, and this is the Fierce. This is the ESP SWIRL Fierce with pages 991 on there. She really hooked me onto this disc. Flies awesome, where when I want to release a disc on hyzer through a gap, but have it go straight, I'll throw this disc. Where the alpaca or the Envy, I'll probably release flat through a gap to keep them straight. And this, if I throw it flat, I know I get an effortless turn. It can throw some amazing turnover shots. The Fierce is really, really good, and especially in this ESP swirl, I'm liking it because it's a little more stable, so I don't have to worry about, it burning out on me. I can rip into it and trust it. Very good disc from DISCRAFT. The most unique disc in my bag, the Casaplast Berg. So this is the Birdberg. This is actually the first Berg that I got, and I am just absolutely loving it. There are Bjorgs out there. I have some in my backup and in my practice bag. Definitely worth checking out. Really, really like this disc. Such a unique shape, but also it's the most unique flight out of any disc I have ever thrown. I can throw this thing as hard as I want, and trust that it is never going long of a basket. I just rip into it and it goes, and then fades almost straight down. It doesn't really fade left, doesn't really peel over too much right, just dead straight, falls straight down. It's fantastic. The Berg from Castoplast is a winner, and I really think that this, when I need it, will save me a ton of strokes. I might not always throw it, but when I have that opportunity to throw a shot where I can't go long OB, I'm gonna be using this. It's money. On to another unique putter. I have the POLECAT from INNOVA. This is it's a slow flying disc where if I want to throw an approach where I need touch, I'll use the POLECAT. Or if I want to throw an approach where I want power, I'll throw the Berg. So it's a really, really good complement. I think the POLECAT is something that is just a really fun disc. It's kind of a get out of trouble. This won't get thrown much, but when I need it, is going to be awesome. So that is the putters, if you will. Technically, I have a zone, which is considered a putter, but from DISCRAFT, this is one of the best approach discs ever made. So if you are interested in checking out a disc that you can throw for backhand and for forehand, the zone is just amazing. It's so good. And I mean, I feel like my game has only gotten better the more that I've thrown the zone. Yeah, especially being able to throw a Brian Earhart zone, one of my favorite dudes, just a great human being, and he just, I don't know, he allows for me to feel like I'm getting better as well. So I love to see this, and the zone is making me a better player. So that's all my putters, approach discs, and now we'll move on to the mid-ranges. In the mid-range slots, I have an overstable URSUS. So this has been going in and out with the Justice. I still bag some Justices from time to time, but that is just in the backup bag where I'm really loving the terminal velocity URSUS. This thing is like a beat up Justice. I can stretch it a little bit farther, but I can still get that overstability. When I throw it with touch, it works really well, but it's just a bit faster and more overstable than the zone. So really liking this, especially in this glass plastic. It is just money. Great shape, very similar to a Justice, so it's easy to kind of slot them in and out depending on what I need. If I want something a little less glide, I would throw a Justice. If the glide isn't an issue, then I throw the URSUS. So it's really, really nice. So big fan, loving this disc. On to, yeah, we'll keep going down in stability. For an overstable throwing mid, I'm using the MVP Reactor, the glow one, the Elaine King one. Man, she is an absolute champion. One of my favorite people to kind of in the sport of disc golf, and I love to be able to throw a disc with her name on it. The Reactor is fast, it's reliable, it's pretty overstable, and I can use this to complement another mid I'm throwing as just that overstable counterpart. It's really, really nice. I can rip into it, know that if it's windy, it will be straight. It's not really gonna turn and burn on me, where I can just trust it and just guide it into that wind. It's been awesome, and the more I throw it, the more I'm liking it, and I really like it on fan grips and certain approaches when, you know, the URSUS is too much and I want to glide a hyzer a little bit more. Really loving the MVP Reactor. On to probably the most, I don't know, this might feel like the most surprising disc, because I thought I was going to be a buzz guy. Not to say I can't throw the buzz, but I'm not going to right now. I think the buzz is an outstanding mid-range, but the ThoughtSpace Athletics Pathfinder was more in line with what I was looking for. I guess the buzzes that I had were a little on the overstable side, and I wanted just like naturally straight, and I grabbed a Pathfinder, threw it a couple times, and immediately fell in love with the flight, how controllable it was, how good it was at high power, and how good it was at low power. So fan grip, power grip, you name it, this is the do-it-all mid-range. I really, really like the Pathfinder for everything. I can even stretch this out. This goes pretty far for a mid-range, so if I don't feel comfortable throwing a fairway and I want to keep throwing a mid, I can really push this one out there and get some extra distance. Absolutely, it's a gem of a disc, and I'm stoked to be throwing the Pathfinder. And thank you to ThoughtSpace for sponsoring me. As you can see, you got the sweet jersey on, but this is one of those discs that I think everybody should be throwing, Pathfinder. One of the only discs to to stay in the bag from my Trilogy days is the Opto Claymore. I don't think that there is a disc that does what this disc does for me on forehand. That sounded weird, but I think it makes sense. It's just effortless, straight. I can use it for touchy shots. This functions in a similar way that the Zone or the URSUS would, but in just a more controllable turnover shots and or hitting gaps type of thing. It's just that good on approaches. So really, really love the Claymore for what it has to offer. I love it for some patent pending backhands or some just turnover backhands. I've been working a little bit more on the backhand line just to kind of feel out what I can do, because I think there are some shots that I have been missing with the Claymore. So I'm still learning and loving this disc a ton. One of the best discs I've ever bagged, and everybody should check it out. On to fairway drivers. So I got a pretty good chunk here for fairways, but we'll start slower and move our way up. So I have a Metal Flake Glow Centurion. This reminds me of the old S-Line FDs that I was throwing when I was with Discmania. Really easy to make it straight, really easy to get big high turnovers, hyzer flip shots. It's awesome. So if I need a shot where I don't feel comfortable throwing the sidearm, but I want to peel something up and have it pull to the right, I'm throwing a Centurion every single time. Especially in this Metal Flake Glow, I feel like they're a tick more stable, so I can really hit into it and know that, you know, it's naturally not going to just burn out on me. It's going to have that play and get effortless distance. This thing for a 7-speed goes a long way. If you're a leopard lover or something like that, maybe even like a Heat, a Centurion is a perfect disc to fit into that slot. Next fairway I have is the Exodus. I use the Color Glow Metal Flake plastic. I think this is a little bit straighter. It's a perfect complement to the Centurion, to where I can hit it very similarly, but I'm not gonna get that drift. I'm gonna just get that peel up to flat and just as straight as can be. This reminds me of like Explorers and Evaders that I used to throw. It's just dead straight. And it's a really fun disc to kind of really lean on, because it goes really far for a 7-speed. So it, again, continues to impress me, and I can't wait to try it out on some of the wooded courses on tour to really see, you know, kind of what type of shot that I'm shaping, or what type of fairways that I'm just kind of attacking, because it might have that little bit of integrity that I'm looking for to keep it down the tunnel for a really long time. The Exodus is a true winner. Next up, to complement that, as we just keep going just a small step up in stability, I have the VOTUM from Thought Space Athletics. I really like the Ethos plastic on this, where this, to me, I've used the comparison to where people who bag T-Birds and Eagles, they're very similar in flight, but where the Exodus is like my T-Bird, just dead straight, just flies just whatever angle I put it on, where the VOTUM is like my Eagle, where it peels up some, but has a lot more finish left at the end. So I'm really liking this, where, you know, I want to get left, where I'll throw the Exodus when I just want to be straight. So the VOTUM is that perfect complement where I can rip this into a little bit more wind as well to kind of push it and allow for it to keep fighting and finishing. And if I need a little bit more action left, I can really rip into this and trust that it has a good glidey finish left without ever turning over and burning on me. So VOTUM, true winner. And just, gosh, look at these stamps. You can't say no to these stamps. They're sick. So big winner in the VOTUM. On to discs that are familiar, but in a different way, where these are SCEPTERs. I have SCEPTERs that remind me of Felons that I used to throw a bunch, where this swirly S-Blend SCEPTER is gonna be like my prototype or early run Felons, where I'm able to rip this, get a little bit of stand up, but still be pretty stable. So this one kind of can stretch itself out a little bit longer, where this Glow Metal Flake SCEPTER is like a Lucid X Felon. Super overstable, really reliable, and just kind of a utility disc. I've thrown many different shots. This thing gets great ground play, but I feel like this overstable 9-speed slot is a disc you have to have in your bag. And the SCEPTER is a perfect winner for this, and I couldn't be more excited to keep throwing these and just to keep picking up birdies. Infinite Disc has some great molds, and the SCEPTER is definitely at the top of that list. Another fairway driver from Infinite. This is one that I am super pumped about. This is the Swirly S-Blend Dynasty. This is a signature series of mine. I am absolutely loving this. I keep 2 in the bag for different reasons. This is a flippier one. This is like a beat up felon for me. I love being able to throw it with a little bit of hyzer, trust that I get that nice easy stand up and even some drift to the left on a forehand. And if I want to throw a big turnover backhand, this is the disc that I'm going to reach for in that fairway driver slot. The blue one is a little bit more stable, so I'm throwing that same line, but it's peeling up to flat but not getting the drift. So it just stays straight for a really, really long time. I'm pushing these out some really good distances. I think where this disc shines the most is on the forehand, where I can kind of really, really lean into these, play them through some gaps, get some easy distance, and really kind of, you know, trust that I'm hitting my gap. You know, with a forehand, you're seeing the line the whole time. So these are just giving me more and more confidence. The Dynasty from Infinite Discs, I am so happy to see this come true and be a disc that I can bag. It's only gonna make me a better player. Super pumped, and thank you to Infinite for helping make this happen. Well, I feel like we're stepping up. I would say we're crossing into the distance driver territory. You could say that this is one disc that might bridge that gap. The DISCRAFT Onyx. Paul Macbeth has a real winner in this one. I'd say that this flies to me in that 10-speed slot where I don't want to be throwing a wide rim driver, but I know that a VOTUM or an ETHOS or a Dynasty are just not going to get the same distance. This I can stretch a little bit farther, but it's like a fairway distance driver. It's so strange, but this is an absolute winner. I can rip into it, I can force it over and trust it. It's nice and stable. I've heard that the different runs can kind of do different things, but I like one that is nice and straight, that I can put a lot of power into and just trust. The Onyx is a very, very good disc, and I'm happy to be throwing it. I used to throw PDs, but I never really threw a disc like this when I was with Trilogy. So I was really happy, and I keep reaching for this more and more. What a great disc. Good stuff. On to another Thought Space mold. I have the Mantra. Now this is my utility disc. I used to throw the Thief, which is a little bit slower, but this is a little bit faster in that same understable slot. I'm really liking it for get out of trouble sidearms. I'm really liking it for rollers. And the Mantra is just, man, this is one of those discs that the more I throw it, the more I get used to what it can and can't do, and I'm just getting more out of it. So really loving this, mainly for rollers, as that, again, that you need to have that understable disc that you can lean on. And the Mantra is only making me better and just giving me more confidence. And just check out that ETHOS plastic. It's absolutely gorgeous. So definitely worth throwing. And this is also an incredible disc for beginners. So definitely something I would suggest looking into. Mantra. So on to my last Thought Space disc. This is one that is getting tested out. This is the Animus. I also have this in ETHOS plastic. For whatever reason, this stuff just feels chef's kiss. Just magical. So I'm loving it in how it beats in. Now this is a disc that I'm hoping will fill a similar slot to what I see people throwing Race for. While I've seen Big Germ throw Race where they're effortless flip up, dead straight, easy distance. I feel like the Animus fits that same slot. I couldn't find Race that flew like that. I was only finding the overstable ones that Eric Oakley has, which are amazing by the way, but not what I was looking for. Where this is going to be a great option for when I want a little more distance than my Dynasty, but a little bit easier to flip up than my Emperors that I'm about to talk about. So this is a great disc, mainly for forehands. I haven't tried it much for backhands, but I'm really liking it. This is reminiscent of some of the prototype Raiders that I used to be throwing. Really liking the Animus, and it just feels really good. It doesn't have too much dome, so it feels especially good on a forehand grip and a forehand rip. Onto an Infinite disc mold that I am incredibly excited about. This is a disc that has made me happy to be throwing distance drivers again, and that is the Emperor. I have a Luster Metal Flake one. It's a little bit lighter and flatter, and I'm loving this one for forehands. Easy distance, effortless little flip up, get some really big distance. This complements the Animus a little, really well, where the Animus might get a little bit more turn, but this one will have just enough drift, but still have enough glide to peel it back out. Where I have two swirly S blends, one that's a little less stable, one that's pretty stable, has a nice pop top to it, and I'm able to rip into these things. I'm able to throw them real far and just kind of enjoy throwing distance drivers again. I think I lost it a little bit last season, and it was something that I was really working on getting back, and I feel more confident the more I throw these, just getting excited to be throwing distance drivers again. And who doesn't love sending it and seeing that big distance bomb? So the Emperor, I think, is the farthest flying disc in the game right now. Without a doubt, absolutely incredible. I probably will bag, up to 4 or 5 of these, depending on what types of plastics and conditions I need them in, and just kind of continuing to rotate them so I have the tools to get after it. So big ups to the Emperor and Infinite Disc for making this one. This is a huge disc in my bag. Another disc that I feel like I would be kind of lost without, because I've seen so many players throw these incredibly well, is the Destroyer. I have the 2021 Calvin Heimberg Halo Destroyers. I have this teal one, a little bit more seasoned in. This is whenever I want distance into a headwind that's just a little bit more stable than the orange Emperor, but just kind of reliable. Good for some forehand, overstable forehands, but it is less stable than the pink. This is the headwind fighter. This thing really kind of just pumps into it, fights, and just does everything that I'm looking for. So the Destroyer kind of speaks for itself. If you find the Halo runs, they're all amazing, and it goes to support an awesome human being in Calvin Heimberg. INNOVA disc, Destroyer is money. And the last utility disc I have is the RPM Kotare. This New Zealand company is killing it. The plastic feels amazing, and this is what I have to called it is Metal Flake Max meets a tilt. Not that the tilt is more overstable than this, but this is throwable. I can use this for a lot of different utility shots. I can work it over from an Anheuser, knowing that I'm getting distance before it peels out. I can throw it hard, I can throw it soft. I will be using this to get myself out of trouble. This is faster than my SCEPTER, more overstable and faster than my URSUS, and just does something so unique, and I'm loving it. So RPM, absolutely killing it with this one. Just a mutant, and you'll love to see it. And I get fun when I throw this, and that's kind of the whole point when we're out playing disc golf. So awesome. My bag is the Upper Park Rebel. I am loving the amount of storage that this thing is offering. I'm easily able to fit my whale sacks. I have gumbies in here, got my minis, plenty of stuff. I fit extra discs in the sides when I want to, plenty of towels, snacks, you name it. Whenever I'm going out and doing extra work, I can stuff this thing wide so I can get extra throws in, or I can easily lighten it up and I don't feel like it's falling in on itself. Really good structure. The rain fly is amazing. Upper Park is killing it. Use code Oakley10 if you want to save some. Why not? Let's just plug it in there along with Killer Whale Oakley at Whale Sacks. Now it goes to a great thing. I can't wait to get a couple more Rebels to kind of cycle through with different colors, but this one gets to support the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and that's always cool because they are taking care of us and giving us a stage to perform on. So thanks to them. Let's just give a shout out to all of my sponsors, Infinite Discs, for this amazing opportunity to be a player and represent this company and throw what I love, which is awesome. Thought Space for giving me some jerseys, some discs, and just helping with a lot of the art and design behind a lot of the stamps that have come out so far and will continue to come out this season. Whale Sacks for making sure that I have the right grip when I'm out there on the course. Birdie Fuel Coffee for giving me just everything I need to wake up in the morning and be ready to go and attack the course. It's been really great. Mad Disc Dies, my boy Al and his crew, amazing people. So stoked to be working with you guys. A bunch of stuff is in the works with some other companies, but I have to shout out Seth Muncie of Disc Golf Strong for taking care of me and helping me get back in after my injury. And I'm feeling just as confident as I would be if I would be starting the season in Vegas, but I'm ready to hit the first events of my season, really get after it, and I wouldn't be here without somebody like Seth Muncie of Disc Golf Strong. So it's been awesome. There's lots more to come this season. You're gonna see a lot of disc reviews, Is That Good series, maybe even a bag update if I find some discs that I'm really loving that help me attack different courses. So stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, go support disc golf, and thank you everyone for watching. I almost forgot that we are doing a giveaway with this in the bag. We're giving away an Upper Park Shift with Thought Space Athletics, Infinite Discs, Whale Sacks, and some other extra goodies. So it's gonna be awesome. So make sure you comment below your favorite disc that's in my bag or your favorite disc that you wanna see maybe in my bag in the future. Thank you everyone for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, be awesome, and we'll catch you in the next one.